skipping a part of 1152, we'll come back to that. The subpart E or subpart D 1152, we're skipping for right now, and subpart E reserves, subpart F exempt abandonments, discontinuance of service track rights. All right, 1152. Exempt abandonment of the discontinuance of the service and track rights. Approves abandonment of the discontinuance of the service trackage rights over the railroad line, except for the provisions of the Title 49 U.S. Code 1093. If a criteria in section are satisfied, whenever the board determines if the proposed amendment to be exempt from the requirement of the Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 1093, whether under the section or on the basis of the merit of the individual position provision 1152, 27, 1152, 28, and 1152, 29 shall relate with the exemption proceeding that shall exempt be exempt from proceedings of the application. Abandonment of the discontinuance of the service of the track rights exempt for the carrier certified that no local traffic has moved over the line at least 2 years. Any overhead traffic over the line rerouted over the line with no formal complaint with the file by the U of the rail service on the line with the state of the local government entity of the acting on the behalf of the such of the user regarding compensation census services over the line over the impending of the board of the U.S. districts of the then proceeding on the favor of the complaint within 2 years of the period the complaint may be alleged if pending and approved to decide if the carrier has imposed a legal embargo or any other unlawful impediment to the service of the board was found that is prior to review with approval of the abandonment of the discontinuance of the not necessary to carry out the rail transportation policy Title 49, Title 49 10101. These transactions are of the limited scope of the continued regulation and necessary to protect the shippers of the abuse of the market power of the Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 1052. Notice for the file U of the class with exemption procedures set forth in 1152, 50 with the D with the class exemption that relieve of the carrier of the statute obligation protect them interests of the employees of Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 1052 with the G with the 1093 B2 with the does not preclude with the carrier with the sheik with the exemption with the specific abandonment with the discontinued that does not fall within the class of the notice exemption at least 10 days prior to the filing of the notice exemption. The board will railroad seek with the exemption must notify the writing of the public service of the commission in the equivalent agency in the state of the word of the line with the abandonment of the service of the trackage rights to discontinue with the Department of Defense and Military Service Deployment in the Distribution Command Center, Engineering and Agency, the Railroad and National Defense, the National Park Service, the Recreational Assistance of the and Division, the U.S. Department of Agricultural Chief of the Forest Services. The notice saying with the railroad describe the involved with the clue with the United States Postal Service, the zip with the indicate with the exemption with the include the HBU with the include with the approximate date with the notice of the exemption will be added with the board of the notice shall include with the following the statement based on the information of the possession of the line does not however the contained federally granted right out of the way with the documentation of railroad possession will be made available promptly with those that are requesting it. The railroad must be verified with the notice of the probity of the name, the document number, subnumber of the file by the letter X with the board with the 50 day of the name and the document discontinue with it being consummated with the document consummation document with the certification 1152B2 with the information 115222A147 and 8E4 labor protection the certificate with the notice of the requirement 115250D1 and 11051 having been compiled. The board, through the director of office, proceeding with the publisher note for the Federal Register within 20 days after the filing of the notice for the exemption of the notice shall include the statement that to the public of the filing and if the band with the railing, service of the salvage with the line may be suitable. The other public use include the trail use of the position state with the effective date of the notice for the other environmental historical preservation grounds must be filed within 10 days of the publication of the petition state with the effective date of the notice of environmental historical preservation grounds may be filed within any time, but it must be filed with sufficiently in advance for the effective date of the or allowed to be board to consider the act of the position belongs before the notice becomes effective. The position with the reconsideration comments regarding the environmental, energy, historic preservation matters and requests of the public youth edition, Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 1095 and Title 49 1152 28A2 will be filed within 20 days of the publication requesting the trail using condition 16 Title U.S. Standard Code 1247D and Title 49 1152 29 must be filed within 10 days of the publication exemption effective 30 days after the publication unless its notice of exemption contains the false misleading information. Use of the exemption to be viva ab initio of the board will summarily reject the exemption notice. In out of service, the rail lines exemptions proceeding under Title 49 CFR 115250 the board on its social issue will say the effect of the date of the individual notice exemption will inform a decision pending of environmental history or preservation issues cannot be made prior to the date of the exemption. Authority would otherwise become the effect of the notice of the decision. All of the parties issued with the exemption may be subject to the environmental and energy, historic preservation, public use of an interim trail use, and rail banking conditions. To address with the same labor protective conditions set forth in an Oregon Short Line Rail Company Abandonment Goshen 360 Interstate Commerce 91 1979 adequately protected effective employees petition partial revocation exemption of Title 49 U.S. Code 1052 must be filed. A consumption notice is provided with 115229E2 rail carrier for the receiver the authority to abandon line of the 115250 must file with the abandonment notice for the abandonment of the consumated. Alright, and then we're going to lead Subpart G, special rules applicable to the petition for the abandonment of the discontinued certificate of the trackage rights filed within Title 49 U.S. Code 111052, exemption procedures. 115260, special rules. Sections contain special rules applicable to any proceeding they instituted under Title 49 U.S. Code 1052. The exemption procedure for the abandonment of the rail line with the discontinued certificate of the trackage rights of the rail line with the general rules applicable to any of the proceeding filed under Title 49 1052. Exemption procedures may be found Title 49 CFR 1121 with the rules in Part 1152 control in the case of the conflict with the general exemption rules. In the case of the petition for the exemption abandonment notice of the filing of the petition published by the board with the director of the office for the proceeding of the Federal Register for the 20 day of the petition filed. There will be no further federal publication later if and when the petition is granted. Any petition filed under Title 49 1052 exemption procedures either the abandonment of the rail line with the discontinuance of the trackage rights of the rail line must be accompanied with a map that meets the requirements of 1152.22a4 of this part. A petitioner of the abandonment exemption shall submit the petition draft of the Federal Register notice of the petition according to the form described below, and it shows how to draft that. Alright, a petitioner or abandonment of the exemption to serve a copy of the petition. Petitioner will receive the notice of the exemption of 115250D with the petition must include the following statement based on the information of the possession of the line that does or does not contain federally right away with any of the documentation petitioner in possession with made available promptly to the requesting and provided 115229E2 with the railway carrier. The receiver authority abandoning of the line individual exemption Title 49 1052 must file with the board a notice of the abandonment that may be being consummated. Alright, and that was 1152 parts G and F. Subpart E reserved.